The Iran war is nearly over. Trump is negotiating with the Iranians, which are obvious lies by Trump, trying to backtrack and calm the markets, calm the oil, calm the bond market. Because the reality is that there is no negotiation, and Iran would never accept a ceasefire, a stop to the war, just for it to restart in a couple of months, as Israel and the US always does. For Trump, he was in big trouble. He made this kind of ultimatum on Saturday that, hey, within 48 hours, if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, then we're going to destroy the infrastructure and energy facilities of Iran. And Iran was like, yeah, right. If you do that, the whole Gulf area infrastructure is going to go away. And it seems like when those 48 hours passed, and on Monday before the markets opened, Trump came out and said, no, we've been negotiating on the weekend and there's been progress, and therefore I'm going to extend this to 5 days. And then they said that, oh, we are having direct talks. Then they were like, no, we're having indirect talks, and we've now shared our proposal. What's really happening is that there is no indirect or direct negotiation happening between Iran and the US. The US sent their proposal. They're trying really hard to stop this, get out of this mess that they're in. And Pakistan said, hey, we're willing to mediate between the two parties. Iran said, these are our demands. And Trump has taken that as this is a negotiation. Let's go into what the proposals are by the US and Iran and how far apart they are.
Here are the 15 points made by the US, let's say, concessions or demands. Number one, dismantling of the existing nuclear capabilities already accumulated by Iran. Possibly Iran might accept this. Formal commitment that Iran will never seek to acquire nuclear weapons. Iran has already said that. No enrichment of nuclear material on Iranian soil. Possible. All enriched material must be delivered to the IAEA on a defined timeline agreed by the parties. Possible. Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow nuclear sites will be taken out of use and physically destroyed. Not possible. They spent millions to build this, took years to build this, and build the technical knowledge. They're not going to give that away. Full IAEA access to all information and sites in Iran's nuclear domains. This is what they've agreed to this in the previous agreement, the JCPOA. Iran abandons the proxy paradigm, its network of regional militias and allies. It will never do that. Imagine asking any country to limit its foreign policy that it sees as legitimate. America does this all over the world. It supports many different factions that align to its own interest. Seize in practice all funding and arming of regional proxies. We'll never do that. Strait of Hormuz must remain open as a free maritime zone. No one will be allowed to block it. So that's debatable, but I don't see it happening. Missile project. A later decision will be made, but Iran must limit the number and range of its missiles. Impossible for this to happen. If they actually think, it's ridiculous that this is actually in the proposal by the Americans. The reason why Trump is trying to negotiate right now and do a ceasefire is because of this, the ability of Iran to hit U.S. assets and to hit Israel to ensure that they are, degrade their military capabilities, to ensure that they don't strike Iran as much as they would like. Future missile use restricted to self-defense purposes only, which is what Iran is doing right now. Iran never started a war with other countries by using their missiles. It's only retaliating and reacting to what the U.S. and Israel started, not once, but twice. Last year and this year, while they were negotiating. Lifting of all sanctions on Iran. This is the biggest concession. Sanctions have been applied since 1979 on Iran, and it restricts not just the oil sales, but also the importation of medicine and many goods, which have killed thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, really. Assistance in promoting and developing Iran's civilian nuclear project at Bushehr for power generation, as if the Iranians are going to rely on the U.S. or trust the U.S. to build anything in Iran after what they've done. Removal of the snapback threat, the mechanism that could quickly reinstate sanctions. But how is that going to be implemented? What is the deterrence for this? They could say, Trump can say, we're not going to attack again, but we've seen time and time again, Trump lies. And does what he wants. Even if he signs an agreement, even if there is an agreement, it doesn't matter for Trump. overall framework for verification and implementation of the above, which is basically deciding on the compliance of this. So, there are some good concessions. There's some stuff that Iran has already agreed to. The one that is impossible for Iran to agree to is the missile project, which is to limit their ballistic hypersonic missiles, which is how Iran projects power and defends itself. Now, what are the Iranian demands? This is the reported Iranian demands, right? The immediate closure of all US bases in the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Peninsula. America is not going to agree to that by voluntarily, even though a lot of those bases are damaged, they've been attacked by Iran. It's caused billions of dollars of damage for all the bases in the Gulf areas. But that's how the U.S. empire is built. You remove those bases, and the U.S. empire starts to fall. Formal and binding guarantees of no further attacks. How can you trust that? End to the Israeli strikes on Hezbollah and Lebanon. So they're not just saying end the strikes on Iran, but end for Israel to end the strikes on Lebanon. And Israel, as if America controls Israel, it's the opposite. Lifting on all sanctions on Iranian economy and its officials. So not just on the economy, but on its officials too, which is something, the economy one is, Trump has already agreed to this. War damage reparations by the United States. This is asking the U.S. to pay for the damage that they've done. We're talking about hundreds of millions, possibly billions of dollars, which is going to be hard for Trump to flip that into a win if you're paying Iran for damage done. No restrictions on the missile program by the West and the GCC. It's obvious. Iran's never going to accept restrictions on their military. Iran also wants a new order for the Strait of Hormuz that would allow Iran to collect fees from the ships that transit the waterway, as Egypt does now with the Suez Canal, despite not controlling both sides of the straits. And it's just been confirmed that Iran has actually officially rejected the proposal by the US straight out. No negotiation, no discussion about, hey, we can kind of do this over here or do that over there. It's very simple for Iran. How could they trust the US after the US killed the negotiating team while they were negotiating with them last year, and then killed the leadership while they're negotiating with them this year? Trump can say, I swear to God, and we'll never do this again. But how can they trust that? The only way that Iran can get into a deal is if they create an actual deterrence. And how do they do an actual deterrence? Is by causing immense pain on the US and Israel, such that there is no way that they would ever think of doing this again, of attacking Iran again. Because the strategy of Israel and the US have been very clear. We do a ceasefire, we rearm our ammunitions, our defense, especially the interceptor defense missiles, and then we restart this war in 6 months' time. That's what they did last year. They did a ceasefire pause and then restarted this year. And while we're negotiating with you, we'll put our assets in place so that we can attack while we're negotiating with you. Because even though America did this 15-point proposal, they're sending thousands of troops to the region as we speak right now, apparently to do a land invasion, which is the most ridiculous thing that America has thought of, is to do a land invasion on Iran, full of mountains, prepared for this for decades. Iran needs to make sure that, one, oil prices stay high for a very long time to ensure it really feeds into the US political system, and that people understand that the people need to rise up in America to demand that Israel will never push America to enter into this war again. It needs to be a loss for Trump politically, and that not just an economic damage, but a military damage of degrading their capabilities, Israel and America, through whether it's in Israel or the US bases around the region. One of the demands is for there be no US bases in the region anymore, because they understand that those US bases were used to attack Iran, and they are used to this day. Think about what the US has achieved in Iran. They have removed the pragmatic leaders in Iran that didn't want war with the US, that put limitations on distance these missiles go, that put a limitation on nuclear capabilities, and put in place, they killed those leaders and put in place the more hardline IRGC commanders that want war with Iran, with the US, that never trusted the US, that understands that the US only understands power and therefore they need to project power, which is what they've done. And because oil is 50% higher, Iran is making more money from its exports now than before the war. Iran's actually making money now from its exports much more than before. And they've unsanctioned the oil that were already on the tankers, which means they don't have to sell them at a discount to China or other countries, which is insane. And now they control the Strait of Hormuz, which is an amazing thing because trillions of dollars pass through the Strait of Hormuz every year. And now they're taking a fee, just like Egypt does with the Suez Canal, of up to $2 million per transit ship, but paid in Chinese yuan or cryptocurrency. So there's like a toll fee. Why would Iran give that up? It had the capability to take over the Strait of Hormuz, but it didn't want because it would have caused an insane war happen. But given that America has provided this war to the Iranians are saying now, okay, now we control this and limit the ability of any adversary to use the strait if they are attacking Iran or helping the attackers in attacking Iran. That's a strategic asset that Iran has now that it can use as leverage. It's not going to give that away, especially when it has all the cards. Yeah, Trump can say we've destroyed this and we've destroyed that and we've destroyed this leader. All they've done is put more young hardline leaders in place, given Iran the Strait of Hormuz, showed that the U.S. cannot defend its U.S. bases, showed that Israel's interceptors are now nearly depleted, and therefore there's going to be more and more damage as time passes. Why would Iran give a ceasefire so that the U.S. and Israel can replenish their missiles and restart again? And this is the problem when you act like a mafia and kill leaders, kill people while you're negotiating with them, which is illegal, by the way. But what is international law anymore? There is no international law. Trump has destroyed the essence of international law. Trump can do whatever he wants. He can kidnap a president, such as in Venezuela. He could do an embargo on Cuba, surround it, such that now Cuba, because it cannot import any oil, because Trump has denied any tankers from entering to Cuba to provide it with oil, there's no electricity. Hospitals don't have electricity. People are dying in Cuba because of Trump just wanting Cuba to be part of the US. And so he's killing people, killing children in hospitals, just because it looks good that America has that power to do what it wants. What does Trump say, or the White House say a lot? Peace through strength. That's what you've told Iran, that playing soft with America doesn't work. You have to play strong. You have to play on the offense with Trump. That's the only thing he understands.